So, like,
that.
one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I like hearing these origin stories is because people that find the time or make the time are the people that become successful.
Exactly.
Hey guys, I'm here with Sofia Castro, somebody that I've looked up to. My wife absolutely loves. I love. She is unbelievable. Last time I hung out with you, we were hanging out in Fort Lauderdale in your beautiful home. You guys basically knocked down 2 freaking houses to build your one house. The story of that's really cool. We can
Yes.
maybe get there, but that's like the end of the rainbow, I think. That's like the pot of gold.
Definitely. 100%.
You were also telling me a story as we were having dinner in your beautiful home at the end of the rainbow in the pot of gold about how you guys got pregnant basically in a camper. And I'm like, isn't this amazing? It is so amazing where people's stories begin. And like what will happen is people will see how you guys have, you guys have $750 million in multifamily real estate. Bobby and you are some of the best speakers on stages.
Oh, thank you.
Dynamic, charismatic, unbelievable family. I love your kids. I love their spouses. They're unbelievable. Your entire team is just, the culture here is unbelievable. And so people see the end result and they go, oh, wouldn't it be nice? But what they weren't there for is all the hardships and what you went through. And so what I want to talk about is the beginning of your guys' story and how did we get here, right? So take me back. Take me back to when you and Bobby actually met. How
Okay.
old were you? What was going on in your life?
So I'm gonna take you back to 1989.
Nice. 1989. Okay.
I was 18 years old and Bobby was 22,
Okay.
and we both were raised in the same city, which is called Hialeah. Whoever's listening out there, this is a city in Miami that is literally like living in Cuba. So everybody that would come from Cuba back in the 1950s to all the way till now, when they're in Cuba, they're like, we're going to Hialeah because they don't need to learn
That's the
English.
spot. It's like, I can get a job. I can get help.
everything.
I can live somewhere.
You get anything you want. You never have to leave
Yeah.
Hialeah. You will find it all, and they don't need to speak English. So when they get here, they automatically are working. So they're able to, hustle.
There's
there.
the benefits
Let's
of
just put
community
it.
right out of the
Yes,
gate, right there.
100%. And it is an awesome community. Everybody knows everybody. And if you go knock on somebody's door and say, hey, I need a little bit of sugar, I need some milk, my kid's hungry, they're going to open the doors and give you whatever they want. Whatever you need,
What
I
are
mean.
Cubans knocking on the door of and saying, I need white people are boring. So we're like, do you got some ketchup? Yeah. Do you got some sugar?
We always say sugar. Yeah,
Is it
sugar
sugar?
and milk.
Is it sugar and milk, really?
Sugar and milk.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so they'll open the doors to a stranger in Hialeah, and they will welcome you in, and you will feel like those people are your family immediately, right? So I don't know how both of our families, Bobby's family is not from Cuba, but we ended up both in Hialeah growing up as
Interesting.
children. We didn't know each other. We went to the same schools. The problem was Bobby's 4 years older than me. So when I would come into, like, let's say junior high, he was going to high school and stuff like that. So we would miss each other. But weird enough, even one of my cousins was one of Bobby's good friends.
Wow.
Yes. I never met Bobby. So when I get introduced to Bobby at 18 years old, I had already dropped out of high school. I had dropped
Why?
out in 10th grade. So now I realized why.
Why did you think it was back then?
Back then, I
versus-
just thought I was dumb. I couldn't understand a lot of stuff. I was tired of repeating. And 10th grade was, and I said, enough. They wanted me to do night school, summer school.
What?
For
What, is it
10th,
because you were
11th, and 12th grade.
you were falling behind?
I was falling behind so bad.
Like you
And
didn't want to do your homework. You didn't like being in
because
class.
I didn't. It wasn't that I didn't want to. It was that when I would do it, I would get Fs, or I would get Ds, or I would fail the test. I come to find out when I had my daughter that I have reading comprehension, I had dyslexia, and also inverted numbers, which I believe it's called calcular or something. I don't know. It's a word for it. But I had all of this, and no teacher. Oh, and I had ADD. No teacher ever came to me and say, hey, you need extra help. Let me give you a little bit of extra time on your test.
They were
or-
like trying to make you fit into the cookie cutter
Exactly.
situation. Yeah,
And I was
okay.
just always feeling like really like, I would sit in the back of the class. I'm like, I don't understand this. I can't read right, or I don't understand what I'm reading. So I was so sick of school And I knew that I was street smart. I was ready to work. And, I don't know, Latin families, they're hustlers.
Oh,
My
hell yeah.
dad had 3 jobs.
Yeah.
All my brothers had 2 jobs. So I was like, I could do this. I could go to work and I could make, and we were struggling. We were 7 siblings. My mom was a stay-at-home mom because they couldn't afford to have somebody take care of us because they didn't have the money.
Was that your family thing, or are you guys like Catholic?
Yeah, where my family was raised Catholic.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Like Mormons, Catholics have a lot of kids.
Oh yeah, my dad was just a freaking little rabbit, I think.
Oh hell yeah, I love it.
My dad.
So you had seven siblings. Where do you
yeah.
fit?
I'm the last one, and I was a mistake. Yes.
Wow, this woman was a mistake.
My older sister is 18 years older than me, and my youngest brother is 7 years older than me.
Wow.
So they were like, okay, no more. But I was meant to be in this world, obviously.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so you're an accident.
So I'm a
you
complete
go to
accident.
You go to 10th grade.
So
you're like,
I
F
get
this.
out of. I'm always failing. I even failed first grade, by the way. Because in the Spanish, I didn't know, like I still have an accent. A lot of people tell me, where are you from? I was born in Florida, but my accent, because I was raised speaking Spanish only. That was my first language. So when I went to school, I started learning English. But being in Miami, I have a Miami accent is what I like to tell everybody, because here in Miami, you speak a lot of Spanish.
Yeah.
And I love speaking Spanish. So for me, it's like...
feel like you're at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. So my English is not the best either. So so we were I was dropped out. So when I met Bobby, I was already dropped out of school. And
What were you working? Were you making money?
No, I was working at a bedding company as the receptionist.
A betting or betting?
Bedding, like a like
Okay.
a bed, like you're laying on a bed.
Okay.
The mattresses.
So you were the receptionist.
I was the receptionist. So I was just working. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was. I had no clue.
You were just hustling like
I was just
your brothers
hustling.
and your dad
Exactly.
and all that.
I was just hustling. And right when I met Bobby, I was about to start like doing bartending, starting to get another job as well. But a little fun fact. I was in a singing group that was it was a local singing group. And we were in this group for probably 8 years of my life, and we would sing and we would open for Menudo, which was a very big group
I mean,
back
isn't
then.
that like the cat soup?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Menudo's
Menudo's the
My wife loves it. She's Hispanic. Menudo's the soup that stinks.
yeah. Ricky Martin was in there.
They
Yes.
named a band
Yeah.
after the soup?
No, it's a Menudo. Yes. No, it's not the Menudo was a big group. It was a big singing group. Like
Is it the
like
same
the
pronunciation
Beatles
as
type
the
of-
soup?
Yes.
What the heck?
I don't know. They're Puerto Ricans. Go ask the Puerto Ricans why they named the
That's
group
like
Menudo.
me naming my group Tomato Soup or something. Okay, so you
Yes.
opened for them.
So we would open for them a lot, and we would open for local bands. So when I met Bobby, I was just getting a contract to go to California to go into a new group that they were looking for 3
So you were going to
girls
maybe
band.
leave to California.
I was about to, right when I met him.
Wow.
And my sister-in-law, Barbie, which is married now to my brother-in-law, Eric, Bobby's brother, me, her, and another girl, they had picked us 3 to go try out for this group. And when I meet Bobby, I don't know, we hit it off, really fast.
Okay, but how does that happen? Like, does somebody introduce
Yeah,
you
so
to Bobby and go, hey, look.
They wanted to, so a good friend of mine, she tells me, you need to meet Eric's brother, which was my brother-in-law now.
Yeah.
One of our good friends was dating Eric. She goes, I love Bobby. You have to meet him. You guys will make a great match.
So they were like straight up matchmaking for you.
They were matchmaking for us. Yes. And I was like, oh my God, no.
I'm about to go to
I'll meet him.
California.
No, well, I said, I'll meet him. She wanted me to meet him on a night that we had gone out the night before. And I was like struggling because I had to be at work. And I went straight from going out to work. And one of those deals. And the next day I was like, I can't. I am exhausted. I can't go out. She's like, you're going to regret it. Let's go. I'm like, I can't. So I didn't ask anymore. I let it go. That was like on a Wednesday or Thursday. On a Sunday, another friend of mine calls me, and we were together, a bunch of other girls, and she goes, can you drop me off at work? My car broke, and I need to be at work by 1:00. And I said, okay, let me just tell the other girls because we're all together. If they don't mind just driving you to work and we'll go over there. So we go, and my friend that wanted to introduce me before goes, guess what? Bobby works where we're going to go drop off Anna.
Wow. From what I remember in his story, he was a waiter.
Well, that was later.
Okay.
That was after. I was after we met. Yeah. So he used to work for a telemarketing company, a Canadian telemarketing company that would sell timeshares to other, you would buy a timeshare and you were stuck with it and you didn't want it anymore. You still had to pay it. They would resell it to the secondary market to people that were looking for timeshares. So he was a great salesperson.
It's so interesting. Like I'm a visionary, so I can see this in my mind. Like I can see the colors, I can see the food you guys are eating, I can see what you're wearing. Like I can see all of this stuff. And it's interesting to think about these two human beings floating through life, failing high school, dropping out, partying, doing whatever. And you have no idea. Like right now, Bobby's on a one-on-one call with a very, very, very well-respected person in the real estate community.
Yep.
That is paying for Bobby's time. And I look at that and I'm like, it is amazing that these two people ended up getting into this position later on. You had no idea what you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. Exactly.
It is crazy. Like these two people that you're describing is you first and foremost, but they didn't know what they didn't know. So this is the night that you're about to meet Bobby, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know I was going to meet Bobby, by the way. That wasn't the purpose of this going to drop off my friend.
Right.
It was just her car was broken. She asks me for the favor. And I said, yes, of course, let's go. On the way there, my other friend goes, oh, by the way, Bobby works in the same place. And I'm like, okay, I didn't even pay attention to it, to tell you the truth. No big deal. We go, we're dropping her off, and I see this guy walking on the sidewalk going into the building where I'm dropping off my friend. So I just go joking around to the one I'm dropping off. I'm like, shit, who is that? And my friend in the back goes, girl, that's Bobby. And I'm like, Bobby? She goes, Eric's brother, the one I wanted to introduce you to.
And you turned me down?
You turned me down. I'm like, well, you should have said that he was good looking.
Yes.
She goes, well, I tried telling you.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it happened this way, that you noticed he was a little hottie.
Yeah.
And then they were like, dude, that's the guy.
Yes.
So did you just jump out of the car and go attack this guy?
I did not. I told my friend that works there, I said, can you tell him to come out here just to say hi? And she's like, oh, my God, let me see, because we have to punch in. And once they clock in, they're on the phone. So,
Right.
they have those auto dialers, right? So she goes, let me see what I could do. So she went inside, and she's like, I guess, talk to Bobby. And Bobby gave her a hard time. Goes, I clocked in. I can't come out. She goes, like, come on, please, 5 minutes. I just want to introduce you really quick. So he comes out, and my other friend was driving. I wasn't driving. He went to the driver's seat, and he's like, hi, I'm Bobby, because he's a very outgoing person. Hi, I'm Bobby, da, da. And my friend laughs and goes, nope, wrong girl. This one's Sofia. So he goes, oh, okay. So he came around, whatever. We said hello. 2 minutes, because he had to go back in. And I said, on Sundays back in Miami, there was this place called Monty Trainers. It was on Coconut Grove, a very popular Sunday spot. So he's like,
is that still a thing?
Yeah. So
is that where you met your girlfriend? By the way, what nationality is your girl? She's an American.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you met her here.
Happens.
He was just at my house in Arizona. I was
Yeah.
like, marry this woman right now. Did you meet her at that spot? Okay. All right. So what is it, like a dance spot, or what was it?
It's a restaurant on the water. It's like it has a restaurant, but then it has like little nightclub that they.
Okay.
It's a bar. Let's just say it's a
hangout
lounge
spot.
spot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a hangout spot. So he goes, oh, so I know the girls always go to Monty's. So he said, are you guys going to Monty's tonight? And I'm like, yeah, actually I am. He goes, oh, me too, but I don't get out of work until like 10 o'clock. And so I'll meet you there. I'll call the girls and we could talk. I said, okay, bye. Bye. He leaves. I had a curfew. My Cuban parents are really strict. Even though I was 18 years old and I worked and paid my bills, I still had a curfew. So I had to be home by midnight. So I was like, okay, it was 11 o'clock and he wouldn't show up.
He still wasn't there.
Nope. But he was 10 o'clock at night. He would get out. He had to go home.
You want a shower?
He wanted to shower, get on, and then go. By the time he got there, I had already left. I couldn't wait no more.
Okay.
So we didn't meet that day. Like 2 days later, my friend that wanted to introduce me originally says, "Hey, Bobby called me and asked me if I could give him your number." And I said, "Yeah, give him my number, of course." So he asked me out. And the first date that he asked me out was to go to the beach on a Wednesday night or something like that. And I said, they had told me he was a big player and that he was this and that.
Okay, so I didn't grow up in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up in Utah. So when we grew up in Utah, we took girls up the canyon. Okay, so you go to the canyon, you have a fire. So when you told a girl on a Wednesday night, "Hey, let's go up the canyon,"
you know what you were getting.
Exactly what
we're
happening.
gonna get. Yes.
I might as well have just said, "Look, we're making out.
Yeah.
One of us might be taking our shirts off. Maybe both of us. Not sure." But you don't say that.
Yeah, we might get home run, maybe a first baser.
Exactly.
We don't know. Yes.
So when somebody says, "I'm taking you to the beach,"
100%, and somebody that you already know is a player. So I was like, I don't know about this. So I said, you know what? I'm a big girl. I could say, say no. Why miss out the opportunity? I'm 18 years old. I can tell you
bucko.
no. So he comes to pick me up with a bottle of wine, a towel, the whole 9 yards.
Homeboy's a
So
gangster,
I said,
huh?
"Oh yeah, this is exactly what this one wants." I was like, "Yes." So whatever. I was super nervous. I don't know why I was very nervous and whatever.
Because he's got that curly hair.
He had that. He had the curly hair. He had the good looks. He had, that swag. And then, so we get to the beach, this famous beach, Eden Rock, which is in Miami Beach, a really nice area of Miami Beach. So we go and we sat down and we were having this conversation. We did not stop talking for 2 hours. It was nonstop talking. It was like, I don't know, we just talked and we drank the whole bottle of wine. So I said, "Oh gosh, now this is, the time. The bottle of wine is gone."
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, and he literally asked me, "Do you mind if I give you a kiss?" Now, I was nervous already. Now, I had never been asked, "Can I kiss you?"
Because like a dude would usually just
would
go
never,
go for it, right?
just go for the kiss, right? I looked and I was like, he's asking me to kiss me. Like, now this is
What kind of player
awkward.
asked me to kiss?
That's very awkward. I'm like, what am I going to say at that point? No, but I was really wanting it. So I was
Of
like,
course.
yes.
Of course.
Yes. I'm like, I've never been asked to get kissed, but yeah. So we made out, but he did not try anything else, which I was very impressed. So it was good because I was
Bobby
like,
Castro.
Yeah, the player that everybody was talking about. And I had a curfew. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
It was 12 o'clock, 12:30, something like that.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
no sign of leaving because for him, we were having a great time,
Well, he's 22.
right? Yeah,
Like,
he's
he
22.
has nobody telling
doesn't-
him what to do?
Yeah, he never had, his mom never had him on a curfew anyway. So I was like, and I didn't know how to tell this guy that I'm 18 years old and have a curfew. I wanted to be the cool chick, right? And I'm like, and I'm looking at the time and I'm like, and he noticed. And he's like, "You feel a little bit uptight." And I got to a point that I said, "Oh my God, I have to tell him because I'm going to get my butt whipped." Like, and my poor mom must be like, right now, back then, no cell phones.
Right.
I had a beeper.
Yeah.
And my mom I'm sure she was dying inside because my dad was really, really strict. So I was like, "Listen, I have a curfew and I'm super late for my curfew." And he's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Like, I'm like, I was so embarrassed to tell you I have a curfew at 18 years old, So bottom line, we got in the car. I got home. I got in a little bit of trouble, but nothing major. And when I got off that day of the car, I'm getting out of the car and he looks at me straight in the eye and he goes, "You know what?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "You're going to be the mother of my child and my wife."
What? On the first date?
First date. I don't know this guy. They're telling me he's a player.
You're joking
I
me.
don't have a serious boyfriend ever. I had one guy that, whatever, but my parents were super strict, like I told you. So I used
So
used
you didn't
to
like
date.
take any dudes
I never
seriously.
took a guy serious because I was like, no, I don't want to deal
My
with this.
dad's gonna kill you.
Yeah, that, and I already have a person telling me what to do at home. I don't want another one telling me what to
Right.
do. So I used to just date
You're
casually.
gonna be the mother of my children and
my wife.
My wife.
So I looked at him and I literally went like this. I shut the door.
Oh!
And I'm like, this guy is crazy. He has not, we just met. So I go inside and I call my friend right away and I said, oh yeah, I'm never going out with this guy again. And she started laughing and I'm like, he just told me this. And she started laughing and what? He's just cute or whatever. I'm like, whatever. For like 2 days, I didn't talk to him. Was
Was
like,
he calling you?
he tried calling me. I was like, but it was a house phone. So my mom would say
yeah.
I wasn't home or, whatever. And then he asked my friend, hey, let's go on a double date because she used to date this friend of his. Let's go on a double date so that, we could all, and she goes, come on, let's go on a double date. It's a double date. You don't have to, just because he told you that, it's not going to really happen,
Yeah, well,
right?
and like the other person will be a buffer. Like, it
Yeah.
won't be weird.
So we did. Well, that day was the last day I was ever single.
Really?
From that day point on, we became boyfriend and girlfriend. He asked me to get married. Like, I actually broke up with him. I actually broke up with him a month and a half in.
Why?
Because he was really serious about this whole getting married and soon. Like, so I was like, wait a minute. This is way too
You're like,
fast
I'm
for
18,
me.
dude. I haven't even lived my life.
I haven't even lived my
You're
life.
trying to lock me
Wait,
down.
and we're both broke as hell?
Yeah.
Broke. He's working day to day.
Telecenter.
Telecenter. He doesn't have a car. The car he used was his brother's or his mom's. I don't remember. I have a car, but it's like this little RX-7 little piece of crap little car. I'm working to pay just my car and my insurance.
Right.
I don't have any kind of like, my parents don't have money. His parents don't have money. We had no clue about entrepreneur. He wanted to be his own boss always, but this whole entrepreneur stuff that, you could really become wealthy and do something if you really wanted to. I didn't have that mindset. My mindset was that I had to work hard to pay my bills.
Yeah, I guess your mindset probably would have been similar to like my parents and my brothers. Like, that's my life I'm going to have.
Yeah,
right?
my father wanted me to go work for the government or, something where I had a steady
get a better job.
Yeah, no, 407 and insurance paid for me and, a steady income. That's what my dad would tell me all the time, even though that he was a little bit of an entrepreneur.
Right.
But
he was like, you don't want this life. You don't want to hustle anymore.
He wanted me to steady. So
your dad had 3 jobs. Your brothers are all hustling, doing the thing.
all of them.
Your dad's like, yo, don't make the mistake we made.
Exactly.
And now you're about to get hitched to this guy 18
to
years
this
old.
guy that has nothing steady.
And you met him a month in. He's already like taking
and he's
it
asking
so serious.
me, yes.
So you broke up with him.
I broke up with him.
And then he was
for
like,
a whole month. We didn't talk. He was so mad at me. He was really upset. When I tell you, he called me every name on the book there was.
Did you know about this?
I know about that. I had no idea about that part.
This is why we ask these questions.
Yeah,
This is
so
interesting.
He was really upset because imagine he's the one that's always the player, has many
now he's got a
girls,
girl saying
and
no.
I have he has a girl that's telling him no and breaking up with him.
Wow.
So he was extremely upset. So a month later, I decided, I was out there in the streets and I was like, all these guys want the same thing. They all like, they're not serious. They don't have a head on their shoulder. Even though that Bobby didn't have a steady income, the things that he would already talk to me about, being his own boss, wanting to create something, he wasn't going to work for nobody. All those things started like playing in my mind. So then I'm like, with these guys, and they're all about partying, about this, and I love partying, nothing wrong with it, but with responsibilities and knowing that you had things that you had to get done. So a month later, it was his birthday, and I had bought him Janet Jackson tickets before because I was my favorite, and he was like, "Oh, I like Janet Jackson. Well, will you come to the concert with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course, let's go." But we broke up.
So you got the tickets.
I had the tickets. And I said, you know what? I really want him to come with me because I was missing him. That month, I was like, what am I doing? Like, this guy wants something serious with me. I have to stop listening to the noise outside because everybody would tell me he's just a player. He's just a player.
It's super mature of you, though. You know, like a lot of girls would have held to that standard of like, I'm just going to stay 18, 19, 20, live my life, do the party scene.
Yeah.
You were recognizing that Bobby had something different and that you also wanted something different.
Right. Correct.
Okay, so did you call him and
I did. I actually didn't call him because he didn't want to answer the phone call me.
like he's now that mad at you?
He was mad at me. He didn't want to speak to me at all. So I went to his mom that I had just met a month ago. I met her in December, so this was in March. And I called his mom.
It's so fun to hear two people
Yeah.
that had nothing figured out in life. Now, like you see them, they've got it all figured out. Like what everybody would assume. And they're sitting, you're going to his mom because he won't even talk
He
to you
won't
anymore.
talk to me. Yeah, he wouldn't
And
talk to me.
you just had met his mom.
I had just met
a
him,
month
but
before.
because my
So she must have thought you were a psychopath.
So no, you know what? She actually is not a very easy person to get along with. But for some reason, she liked me from the day one we got, hit it off. And he had a girlfriend prior to me. 6 months before he met me, he had a girlfriend for 5 years. Yeah. So he was a player with that girl. So it was a rough relationship because of Bobby.
Of course.
The girl was a nice girl. It was just Bobby that, was in that stage of his life that he
Right.
wasn't ready. And so his mom actually liked his ex-girlfriend a lot too because the girl was really a nice girl. But she understood that just, it couldn't work out. It couldn't work out. So when I met her, she was kind of like hesitant because she knew that he had girls coming in and out. So, but me and her for some reason hit it off. And my other friend that was dating his brother actually was talking to his mom about me, and so whatever. So we set up a night to go for Bobby's birthday the night before at midnight to go with a cake to say happy birthday to Bobby.
What, at the telephone center or
Well,
something?
When I was with him, that we have been together for like 2 months, he had wanted to open almost like a Craigslist, identical to a Craigslist.
Back
before
in 1989?
Before Craigslist came out.
Wow.
But he didn't have the cash, the capital, nor the resources to back him up. So he tried it. He tried getting people that didn't want to deal with their ads to sell the cars, to sell couches, to sell anything. And he would do the advertising for that person and answer the calls and sell, a
Wow.
Craigslist.
Yeah.
So before I broke up with him, he was looking for the office space and all that stuff. So in that month that we had broken up, he had found an office space and he was putting it together. So he was in there. He would sleep there basically. He was there all night, all day, everything because he needed to put this together and it was a one-man
Interesting.
show.
Interesting.
So I knew he was going to be there. So I said, okay, let's go sing happy birthday to him. And his brother was worried. He's like, oh my God. He's going to be really upset that she's coming because he's really mad at her. So his mom goes, I don't care. She's coming. We're going to go do this. So when I show up, his eyes went like this, like, what the heck are you doing here? Like type of thing. He didn't say anything. It was just the expression on his face. And he was so mad he didn't want to talk to me. So I'm like, you put the cake down, not me, to his mom. I'm like, you do it. So I gave him in the envelope and, with the 2 tickets in it. And he looked at me like, really? Like, you
you don't talk to me for a month and now you want to take me to
want me to
Janet
go with?
Jackson?
Yeah, exactly. You really think I'm going to go with you?
Wow.
So that night, it took me like a good hour for him to talk to me, smoothing it in. And then we started talking. We just said, I don't even remember what we said, whatever. Bottom line is, the next day, he went to the concert with me.
Can you pull up
Yeah.
1989 Janet Jackson tour?
It was March.
Do you remember the tour?
Yeah, it was March 1st of 1990 because that was already in
Yeah.
March. We met in, so yeah, it was in 1990, March 1990
Janet Jackson
concert.
tour.
Yeah.
I bet she had like this the leather
The
jacket
leather,
tour.
yeah, I think so. I think that's what it was. So we went, and that day we talked again for hours and hours and hours. And we decided that, you know what, we're going to give this a try again. And I told him, okay,
Slow it down, buddy. Is that what you told him?
No, I told him, you know what, I understand. I'm gonna give this a try. I'm gonna be a little bit humble and try to see that I'm gonna be in a serious relationship with you.
Look at
this.
those concerts.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You see?
John Norris. Is that MTV?
You
Oh
see?
my gosh! You found the live in
Yeah,
Miami
you see, March
from
1st. That was
1990.
Bobby's birthday. That's his actual birthday. We might be coming out on there. You see?
That was Janet Jackson's first tour.
So, yes. It was awesome. I loved it.
Wow.
I was a super fan of Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. So it was like I'm like, please come with me, whatever. So we did it, and that night.
Did he have a car by this point?
No, nope. He had no
No
cars.
car.
No car.
He's over there in an office building.
I picked him up
at midnight. Like he's going there sleeping at this office building because he's got a dream.
He had this whole thing that he
What
wanted to do.
is so interesting about this? I mean, there's 1,000 things that are interesting about this, but like, think about the fact that Bobby was putting together an office building, but he still didn't have a car.
He still didn't have a car, and he was still working
He was putting
during the
money
day.
into the building, not into a car. Because the dude's like, I'm so dedicated to my dream.
Yeah.
The car is actually...
And he's still working at the telemarketing
So
company in the
amazing.
morning. Like,
Wow.
he was still doing that. And at night, that's why he was there till midnight. He would sleep there because the only time that he had available was after work to set up the office.
So this gets to me, like, you coach people, I coach people, and you get people that say, I just can't find the time.
Yep.
Right?
I
So, like,
hate that.
one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I like hearing these origin stories is because people that find the time or make the time are the people that become successful.
Exactly.